Greetings, everybody. This we're at the high point of Hanukkah. And Hanukkah literally goes out with a bang. Did you guys all burn your leftover oil and wicks yet? That's the mitzvah to do on this day. It is. We explained this all in our address from last night. Find it on this channel. Now, I'm very excited. I know this was on short notice, but I'm sure you'll see the notifications. Um, we're going to start going through the Moreh Nevuchim. Amongst the many great things we're going to have on this channel, we'll have a class in the Moreh Nevuchim. We'll have classes, serials on the Rambam's, Maimonides' other works also. But we're going to start Moreh Nevuchim, the guide to the perplexed. Maimonides, it's Maimonides' philosophy. It is his philosophy. It is his unique approach to reconcile religion with reason, and with the science of his day. And he reveals a lot of other ideas that he thought about, deep concepts in Judaism. I don't need to give an introduction to this book because Maimonides, the Rambam himself, has 2 or 3 introductions to this book to tell you what it's about, what the product is, and and how to learn it. What you'll get out of it and how to work with it. I use the Kapach edition. But the Moreh Nevuchim, the guide was written in Arabic. So it's hard to say if there's any real, correct translation to use. I grew up on this one. I have gone through Moreh Nevuchim quite a few times with this one. This one I grew up on, and that's what I'm going to use. But I'm going to read the Rabbi Kapach's Hebrew translation quickly. The main thing to concentrate on is my translation and explanation. The one thing you need to know about the very first introduction, which is an opening letter, is that the Rambam composed this book as letters to his student, Yosef, the son of Yehuda ibn Vaknin. And then, of course, like many of his classical letters, he saved copies for himself because he knew it would be, worthy of publication, right? Even as he is sending it to his student piecemeal, he is, he has in mind at the time to also at the same time have it form a book, the Moreh Nevuchim. This is much like there's a much bigger project than like his letter to the Maimonides or his letter that he sent out, to strengthen Jews that were forced into apostasy, or his letter they sent out about resurrection. This was like many, he sent it piecemeal, but he knew as he was sending it to this student that he kept copies for himself with in mind to collate a book to send to other worthy people also. And that's the one thing you just need to know. The rest of the Rambam, Maimonides explains himself, what the book is about, what the product is, and how to learn the book. So without further ado, I'll tell you what, without further ado, subscribe. Listen, this is, we're going to teach the entire Moreh Nevuchim with God's help. It'll take us months, if not years. I'm not going to give this class at specific times of day on specific days. It could be sometimes, we'll be out for a break, like I'll go away for a weekend or Yom Tov. And I definitely can't promise that when I give it, I'll give it at the same time, on the days that I may be able to be consistently give it. So therefore you must subscribe. You must subscribe to this channel. So you'll get notifications. You'll know that I'm online teaching Moreh Nevuchim, or if you can't catch it online, live, it's cataloged, so another installment was made, and that way, if my schedule is all over the place, and sometimes I might even do 2 installments in one day. Sometimes we'll go a few days without any installments. You'll always be on top of it because you'll get notifications. So don't miss out. Subscribe to the channel to get notifications for new installments in this series and all the many other series that we are doing. So, without further ado, B'Shem Hashem Ke'olam, the Rambam, put on the top of his letterhead, in the name of Hashem, the God of the world. And so, like we still have the custom in our day and age, Jews, right? The Siyat Shema, with the help of heaven, So, okay, always want to open up, crying out to Hashem, that everything should be for His glory and we should merit to have His divine assistance in whatever we do. Yosef Shatz Bereb Yehuda Nucho Eden, you, my dear student, Yosef, the son of Yehuda, right? Kasher Marta Lefana Bat Mikatras Lamot Etzli, when you stood before me after coming from the edges of the earth, seems they traveled from far away. According to Kapach, he came from somewhere else in North Africa. Well, look, anywhere was far away back in those times. It was even dangerous to take road trips. Right, so you stood before me coming from far away, to learn from me, to learn by me. Ultimately, I had great appreciation for your high level, of being a serious student, because you are so passionate about pursuing all the different disciplines, all the different branches of knowledge. Now, what I saw in your poems seems that they had a correspondence, and it's Yosef, the son of Yehuda, sent the Rambam types of poems in which the student expresses his passion for analytical ideas, to learn things that require deep analysis, like philosophy or like Torah, right? Now, at the time when I was receiving your letters and all your prose, right? So Alexandria, it was coming from Alexandria, and this was before I ever tested your true, mental capabilities. Right, so I was getting all these letters from you where you're expressing in poetic form, your passion for learning and the pursuit of knowledge, but I had not yet met you face to face to actually see where you're at. How great is your acumen and your IQ. And I said to myself, prior to having met you in person, perhaps his passion is greater than what he is able to comprehend. He wants to know all knowledge, but he doesn't have the acumen, to understand everything he wants to know. וכאשר זה לפני כל מה שכבר למדתי, מדעי התכונה, מה שכבר ידעתי בין המדעים מדברים ההכרחיים להיות מצב פניהם, הוספתי בך אבל לטוב תבונתך ומיעוט תפיסתך. Right, but then when you came before me and you presented before me, a summary of what you've learned from, be it from, astronomy, and what you know from other sciences that are prerequisites, like whatever you need to know for advanced learning, like mathematics, logic, whatever all the prerequisite forms of knowledge that come for advanced knowledge. Again, like mathematics and the study of logic. So you present me how you know astronomy and you know mathematics, you know logic and things like that. All these things that are prereqs, for deep philosophy. So I actually increased my love for you after seeing how refined and ready you are. Seeing how good you have such good understanding and you grasp things quickly. And I saw that your passion for the sciences, for all the different forms, all the disciplines of knowledge is very great. Right? And I let you continue to train yourself refine yourself, right? Because I know that I saw how you're like you have this dogged goal to attain knowledge and to attain it properly with clear understanding. Because when you also presented before me what you learned from logic per se, I had high hopes for you. I saw that you are a student that I could reveal the secrets that are alluded to in the books of the prophecies in Tanakh. That you should know the inner message that only the people who are only perfected people are fit to know from what the prophets were trying to convey, secretly convey. As we're going to learn in this book, there's a simple meaning to the prophecies, a great deal of like rebuke to improve, but there's also they allude to secrets of how Hashem runs the world, right? And you're one of those complete persons that is befitting to reveal to you what's encoded and alluded to in the books of prophecy, which are called, secrets. Those are what's called Ramaz. I start, alluding to these things and making you aware, dropping hints to awaken. Because as the Ram's going to say later, we don't talk about these things openly. If a person is really ready, to understand these things, it's enough to hint to him and he'll put the pieces together. If a person's not ready, if we can't risk telling him ideas that he'll mishandle. And that's why the way to go is with hints and allusions. If you're really ready, that's enough for you. And if you're not ready, so that's what will protect these delicate ideas from the likes of you who would only misuse these ideas. Raise you out to Dorothy man over, but I saw, you would, no matter how much I gave you, you were always demanding more. You wanted more. No, you wanted me to teach you like stuff that's to do with divinity. I guess we translate that metaphysics, right? What's beyond physics, things that have to do with the secrets of how the world runs and why physics are the way they are. Because physics are the way they are because of the way God is, running the world in a certain way, and that's what gives us the physics that we have. He wanted me to start teaching you like these secrets of how, things about God, about angels, and about how God runs the world. But he also wanted me to inform you about the Kalam. All right, the Kalam, very important to mention, was the rage of the times in Islamic circles. It was started by early Christians that felt that they can't reconcile Greek philosophy with the scripture. So they made up their own philosophy, and it was later when the Islam arose, they grabbed the thinkers grabbed onto the Kalam and further developed it. The Rambam, now, and by the way, let's just say the truth. This is Rav Sadia Gaon's philosophy is very heavily based on Kalam. Sadia Gaon grew up in the Islamic circles and amongst the Islamic the religious Islamic philosophers you know took the Kalam from the early Christians and further developed it, and that's what Sadia Gaon was heavily influenced by them, heavily. Um, as there's a little bit of it in Chovos HaLevavos also, from what I understand. The Kusri, which is another series that we're beginning, but subscribe to the channel, and that way, yeah, subscribe to the channel, you'll get notifications. You won't miss anything of the great stuff we're giving out on this channel, and all for free. Stuff that you can't get anywhere else. Okay. Well, the Khuzri also engaged a little bit in Kalam, but he didn't like that or any philosophy for that matter. Okay, so he wanted the bit Kalmim, the Kalam, right? Right, the idea which the Rambam really despised them. And he said, "You want me to know if the stuff that the Rambam considered mongoloidal reasoning, even though there's some of his predecessors kind of took to it or dealt with it seriously. The Rambam considered mongoloidal, as we're going to see at the end of section 1 and we have section 2. He considered the most crooked thinking possible, and he therefore goes to reconcile the Torah with the Greek philosophy. They consider to be more, straight-minded. But anyway, so you want to be supposed to tell you about the Kalam, and if what the Kalam says are things that can be proven or have been proven, if they're proven truth, and if not, what is Kalam if it's not that? Ram held it was all nonsense. Right, so now I saw that you actually started hearing some ideas from the Kalam from people other than me. You became a little bit confused, and you started having doubts, right? But we're not trying to express but your lofty soul just wants to correct wants to know correct things. You don't want to be confused, and you don't want anything that's distorted or not 100% clear. Not So a lofty soul like you that's looking for the pure, beautiful truth, right? So obviously you were very unhappy with stuff that you heard from the Kalam. It didn't sit well with you. לא חדלתי לדרוש לך מכך וזה הולך לקחת את הדברים בהדרגה, מהצד שיוסך האמץ בדרכם. So now I also did not cease to try to push you away, I mean to say, to discourage you, slow you down is the way to translate it. So this guy, Yosef Ben Yehuda, great guy, sharp mind, educated, but he was like running ahead. So, and sometimes when you run too fast, so you pick up some distorted information like from the Kalam, or sometimes you just learn even correct stuff before you're ready for it. So the Rambam said, first things first, I want to slow you down a bit, buddy. Take things step by step, right? Because I want you to understand the truth the way it's meant to be understood. Which is that you come to truth through research. Excuse me, please. My golden retriever is scratching at the door. Hold on a second, please. Sorry about that. We have to be merciful on all God's creatures, right? I wanted you to understand and learn, internalize the truth in a way that's meant to happen, step by step. You hear everything when you're ready for it. When you're ready for it, not just you're able to comprehend it, but also you understand why it necessarily must be true. So you get the truth as as you're ready to understand it of why it must be true, and so below not that you should have true information just by happenstance. That's the problem they have, in some in some circumstances. People just especially in this information age, or you have a teacher that's on an ego trip. So he imparts to his students advanced information, assuming that's all true. But even if it's all true, it's just tell students things that they're not ready to hear. They're not ready for it, so they can't understand it. And if they could understand it, basically, they can't understand why it's necessarily true. And that's also a terrible injustice and distortion. When you teach truth, it should also be understood why it must be true and why it cannot be any other way. Shouldn't just have true information in your head by happenstance, but you have the truth because you're ready for it and you understand why it's necessary and you've internalized it. That's why I wanted you to have your truth, so I tried to slow you down. Right? Learn and not to be told you should say to Kashiniska Pasuk or Lashon the Chadkhan just Bahara, but even though I was slowing you down, but whenever we got together, took a walk together, sat in shmooze together, if a pasuk, a verse from the Torah, from the Bible came up, or a saying from our sages came up, and there was something encoded there, I would, I would drop you hints, or sometimes I would just explain it to you straight out. So, even though I slowed you down, I still gave you the goods nonetheless, in those great times that we had together. As he goes on saying, those great times we had together. But then God decreed that we have to separate, because it's Yosef ben Yehuda I think he went to Baghdad, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Whatever, he had to leave Egypt, leave the town of the Rambam. And then you turn to wherever you turned, wherever your travels, wherever your travels took you. You should know those meetings between us that I remember fondly. Those meetings when explain to you the secret of this pasuk, the secret of this statement of our sages. I remember those meetings fondly. Oh, excuse me. The dog's eating my books. 1 second. Sonny, stop it. No, no. Sonny, go upstairs. Sorry about that, but I'm told this makes the whole YouTube teaching experience more like human and more real and more intimate, right? Just say yes. Right? Put in the comments that you like it when I have to take breaks to scream at my dog. Will make me feel better about all this. But anyway, but the my fond memories of these great meetings that we had, it caused to reawaken a passion, a initiative that I had, that had subsided. I had a certain initiative years ago that subsided, but I went back to that initiative that that passion and initiative that I had, dumped. It caused me to go back to it. Right. It's actually, meaning a book like this, the Moreh Nevuchim, is a book that I had planned to write years ago. The Rambam actually talks about it, except at the time he envisioned this book of being a few different books. He talked about it in his um, commentary to the Mishnah and his introduction to perplexed, the 10th, or in some editions, it's the 11th chapter of Tractate Sanhedrin. Right, so over there he writes about that he is intending to write a book to explain the secrets of the prophecies and about prophecy and how it works. He's going to write a book explaining the cryptic sayings of our sages. He had to write a book, about philosophical ideas. The Rambam had, all these philosophy books in his mind. They intended to write. Right? They intended to write. Then he didn't get around to it, and now, so he wrote the commentary to Mishnah when he was young, right? So he had all these things he writes that I'm intending to write, and he didn't get around to it. But now these recalling these meetings that we had reawakened that passion that I had so many years ago. And now I'm getting around to it, but it's all being collated. All these different projects are being collated as the Moreh Nevuchim, right? And so I miss you, and this missing you caused me to reawaken that passion and to compose this essay. I've composed for you and for those who are like you, and there's so few. And is the Rambam talking in his day that he's going to say later that it's like this book is for like the 1 out of 1,000, the 1 out of 1,000 people have their heads on, are educated, firmly religious, have their heads on straight, know their religion well, and they know their science and philosophy well. This book is like for like the 1 out of 1,000. So I'm writing this book for you and for those who are like you. Well, see, in this book will be made up of separate chapters. And you're going to get it piecemeal. So the Rambam, already, the in his mind, he decided it's going to be chapters. It's going to be chapters, and it worked out perfectly because it'll send a piecemeal, chapter by chapter, to the student. So, like I said, it's like he's writing it as a letter to the student, but and sometimes he's addressing the student. He say you and you, because it is written as a letter, but it's also he was mindful that it's going to be a book. It's going to be a book. It's going to be a letter, and he had the chapters figured out in his head. And that fit him perfectly because he sent it as letters, chapter by chapter. All right, so you're going to get it first chapter first, wherever you are, Vatashab, and may you have peace. All right, I think that's enough for today. We finished the introductory letter, right? Next thing is going to be a lengthy introduction talking about the product of the book, and the necessity for the book. And then there's going to be another introduction of how to learn the book, which is going to be a shorter one, even shorter than the introduction we did today. There's going to be yet another introduction, a quick crash course in the logic of resolving contradictions. So we got time, but we're going to have a Kuzri class in just 40 minutes. So let's take a breather. And please subscribe to this channel. Subscribe. There's good stuff. It's not, you will not easily find a shir Moreh Nevuchim that's available online for free like this. And so not, taught in the style that we're teaching it, with a yeshiva approach, a yeshivish approach to the Moreh Nevuchim, the way I was enlightened to this path from my rabbeim, my masters and teachers, Rav Yaakov Weinberg and Rav Moshe Shapira, of blessed memory, both of them of blessed memory. Subscribe, and do me a favor, don't be stingy. Like this video, like this presentation. It wasn't boring, was it? It was great. And it was less than a half an hour. Like it. And hopefully that's what we'll do. We'll try to keep it limited to half an hour slots, so it shouldn't be too much in one sitting. Okay? So we're stopping a drop early. It's better than just doing a half-baked, incomplete start of the next chapter. Next chapter we'll do next time. And you won't know when the next time is. Subscribe. And that way you'll receive notifications because I myself have not planned when I'm giving the next installment. Have a great day. So please subscribe to the channel so you'll get the notifications. And another thing is check out our website. We have so much stuff on our website. A wealth of material. So go to evanshesiah.com. It's full of good stuff. Don't miss out. Don't miss out. Okay, guys, if anyone who was listening, we will have a class on Kuzari, at 2:40. So take a breather now. Everyone, take care. Hope to see you soon later today.